GBBC is actually the most amazing group of doers and changemakers who are looking to solve some of the world's biggest problems and society's biggest challenges using technology tools.
United Nations Population Fund is the UN Sexual and Reproductive Health Agency. We aim to close 3 major gaps in the world: ending unmet family planning needs, ending preventable maternal health, and ending gender-based violence. It's in all its forms.
It's incredibly important to take a multi-practice and a multi-sectoral approach and to try to avoid working in silos. And so that actually when you are pursuing any one of the SDG goals, the lessons learned can be actually applied to other sectors as they develop in those areas.
Web 3.0 integrated with digital public infrastructure has an enormous potential to make societal level change, not just technological, but fundamentally inclusive. So my ask for people is to make that commitment for human rights to be the blockchain and inclusivity to be the code that binds us all.
We need to better understand what the implications are to not just the technology, but the business processes that will slightly change because of this new modernized technology. And so there's a lot of exploration that's happening in almost all countries these days. DTCC, we ran a project where we partnered with the Digital Dollar project, and we're able to explore what it would look like to use an eventual CBDC to settle a security transaction.
I think the digital currencies have the opportunities to streamline a lot of the infrastructure to make things much more efficient, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done on it. But it's an exciting opportunity.
We're kind of at the forefront of purchasing credits and purchasing forwards from different projects. Last year, we invested a significant amount of money. We've actually committed $100 million to purchases in carbon credits or forwards. And we've been funding a number of projects, both technology-based and more nature-based. So everything from sequestration of CO2 and cement to methane capture. There's been a number of projects out there we've been working with.
Many of the countries that we're working with don't have the sort of legacy infrastructures and regulatory structures that we have here in the US or in Europe. That's both a disadvantage and an opportunity because they can, in some sense, leapfrog what other countries have taken years to do and really mobilize that technology, mobilize that smartphone that people have even in remote parts of the country to increase financial access, increase financial inclusion, give farmers access to market pricing. So there's lots of different impacts that financial technology can have in these countries.
We believe in technology as a force for good. At the World Identity Network Foundation, we are looking at the most innovative approaches to solving humanity's toughest challenges, like someone lacking a proof of their identity and being caught in the vicious circles of modern slavery, exploitation, and abuse.
From a food perspective, we are facing one of the worst global food crises ever, definitely since World War II. There are 783 million people that go to bed not knowing where the next meal comes from. That's 1 in 10 people in this world. Within those, 345 million people are what we call acute food insecure. They're really marching towards the perils of starvation, with all the detrimental consequences that could have on individual health, but also community, local economies, and so on. I get up in the morning being an optimist and thinking that science and technology can make a dent and contribute to the alleviation of these problems. And that's where I see technologies like blockchain, but also AI, how we can mobilize resources leveraging innovative finance mechanisms in a different way.
Every time I come to an event, every time I go to a Zoom call, every time I interact with GBBC, I learn something. That gets me out of bed in the morning, that gets me excited about the technology and where it's going. It's a great organization to be part of.
I'm proud, I'm excited to come to any GBBC event because of the quality of conversations that I have, the nature of the really collaborative, collegial challenges that emerge, and we all lean in a deeply friendly, partnerial, useful way. It's just a wonderful community to actually have real conversations and get real work done.
It really helps us as UN organizations to work with councils like GBBC and others to be able to meet the industry experts and facilitate the change that we're looking for.
I think the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is a digitized and paperless global supply chain. And that's a very different world. We saw the impact of that during the pandemic, where we couldn't get things across borders, we couldn't get things across the ocean, we couldn't get things to us when we needed to. And a lot of that is just friction. And I believe that there's a way in the future to reduce a lot of that friction through a paperless trade.
The technology that can solve some of the world's most intractable problems exists. How do you use it in a way, again, that benefits the common good? It's there, seek it out and use it.
I want to thank, with gratitude, for the support by our sponsors of the UNGA Blockchain Central this year: Accenture, Hogan Lovells, Ripple, BXC, Shadows in the Dark, and the World Identity Network. 1 year from now, I hope we come back to the UNGA conference to then say, we have accomplished X, Y, and Z. And we've actually done what we talked about today. And we've advanced the goalpost forward to scale the projects that people are incubating right now, and for the projects that are in production to have grown across the globe.